Why am I not experiencing the shifting? Why am I not identity shifting? Well, you are not identity shifting for multiple reasons, and you've got to find exactly which one of them. It could be just one, or it could be multiple. In this episode, I'm going to be explaining to you. Before you started experiencing the shift, before the shift begins, there are two things that is possible. One is that you are tested by God, who is the architect of this universe, if you are worthy. Take it like the movie of the Thor which you watch, and the father say, whoever is worthy of the Thor hammer, whoever is worthy, whoever is humane enough, should be able to carry the Thor hammer. So this is a replica of the same thing that happens if God doesn't see you to be competent to possess that power, that goal, that abundance, that achievement, to behold that reality which you are asking for. It's gonna get stuck there. You're not gonna receive it. But once you aced it, you start getting result. And this depends on certain things: your vibration core, your commitment, and your proof to universe, to God, that you are the most qualified person. Now, there is something you have to understand here. This is really deep, right? I'm trying to break it down. I'm trying to make it as comprehensible as possible. When you're looking for something, when you're trying to get anything, when you're trying to achieve anything, I want you to believe in your mind that there are millions of people who want the same thing that you want. So it is not only you who is turning that dial, trying to tune to that right frequency before it to start coming up. And when I speak of dial, now that is what you should imagine, that there are millions of people trying the same thing. We have billions of people in this planet, and there are millions of people trying just to get hold of the same thing you're trying to get hold of. The question is, what are you doing different that differentiates you from the rest of other people who are lined up doing it? If you're the kind of person who wake up in the morning by 10, when there are a lot of people who are waking by 6, you could even get it faster. All depends on the frequency of your vibration, the intensity of your desire to get that, and your methodology and implementations of your strategies to get it is what is going to determine who is going to get it first. Whoever tunes to the frequency correctly and line himself properly the first time will be the first to get it. That is how it is. No matter how you picture it, that is how it is. Now there is a second thing there. The second thing there is, for the shift to occur properly, you have to understand some certain things. And this is what kept a lot of people in a very loop that keep them constantly trying to make it happen. When you're trying to substantiate, I call it substantiate or transmute it, where you're trying to materialize the thought that you have in your heart. You've visualized it, you have carried out every process which I taught in my channel here, and yet it is not materializing. And you are sure within yourself that you are the most qualified person, you are the most competent person, and you have certified yourself that you are ready. There is a time where you want something, but you are not ready for it. It's more like a kid who wants to eat meat, let's say within 5 months or 6 months of age. You can see her stretching her neck or his neck trying to eat what the mother eats, but the solid food where the mother eats, she is hungry for it. She is trying to show that she is ready for that solid food, but in reality, she is not ready. The mother knows that if she give her or him that solid food, that it will choke him or her up and she'll start vomiting or throwing out. This is exactly what happens to us. when we seek, when we believe that we are qualified, that we are ready, God looked unto us and said, the power that is behind the prosperity that you seek is beyond what you have thought, what your calculation, your logic, your human nature logic. And He is waiting patiently until you are ready, until you prove to Him that you are ready to bear it, and the consequences, it's gonna get stuck there. Now, when I talk about why most people get stuck in the shift is not making coming into pastors, I'm gonna give you guys a story. Then after the story, I'm gonna tell you, and you can figure out from the story where you get it wrong. I have a group of friends which are doing the same business, and I decided to strategize my own way. And this job requires us to be there every day to wait for customers. So if you're there, your chances of meeting new customers is very high. Now, I have been there just like them. Initial, that is the first program. So this is technically the same thing people do the same thing people do and expect same result. I did it. I was getting the same result, but there is something happening. I am having a different mindset. I needed a payment that is 20 times higher than what the average person there is looking for. But meanwhile, I am coming to do the same thing that the average people are doing. And I sat down, think through myself, and I say, I am doing it wrong. I am desiring something that these people are not desiring 20 times, but yet I'm using the practical approach which these people are using. It doesn't make sense. If I need it to be on that 20 scale, I need a 20 scale matchable program and strategy that's gonna equal to what I am looking for. There is someone who have said this a lot, and I often like quoting him. It's not even Nikola Tesla. It's interwoven with Bible, and that is Isaac Newton. The first law of motion states that every object will remain in a state of rest, or will continue in the motion until when acted upon by a force, and will shift based on the proportion of the force that acted upon it. So if you are standing still and the force hit you from behind, it will push you to the direction where the force is going. If the force is going forward, you will go forward. That is a reality. If it hits you from the sideways, from left, it will push you to right. If it hits you from right while it was going to left, it will push you to left. That is what it is to life. Then you will remain in where you are until you decided to think differently, until you decide to to think outside the box, to think differently from every other person, to vibrate in a higher scale than what normal person would do. That is when you start getting an outstanding result. That is what it is to life. That is what it is to getting anything. That is the principle of materializing anything. Now back to the shifting. Now the shifting, my friends, I decided I want to do something different. And I decided I'm going to be staying at home. I will not be coming to wait for customers. But I have made a different strategy. I decide I don't have a signpost. I'm going to keep my signpost where my esteemed customers is going to come. And I believe it with every notion of my heart that whoever customer finds me there, we pay 20 times of that desired amount which I want from the customer. That's my service charge. And you know what happened, guys? It worked. Just as I logically think it. Now, there's something most of you guys are missing in this little puzzle, in this little story. What you guys might have failed to understand here is that I have made a choice, a very big choice, to lose every other customer that is coming through the same route which these other same people are doing. And And that is so the key element that keep a lot of people from shifting, from from substantiating their thought. There are people who are stuck in the reality of their past and they want it to be their future. It cannot happen. This world is like a two-coin. When you hold the back side, you cannot see the front side. When you hold the front side, you cannot see the back side. So you want to choose the side you want to see, either the back or the front. If you choose to see the front, then forget about the back. If you choose to see the back, then forget about the front. That is what it is to shifting, for the shifting to occur. Now, if you still don't understand that again, I'm going to break it down for you to understand. For you to shift, you have to decide which side of the coin you are. The old habit has to die so that the new habit can live. But the two habits cannot live together. If they live together, there's not going to be progress, because one of the habit is not good, and that is why the new habit is coming into place. You should remember the famous quote that if you love two persons, you should forget about the first one and go for the second one. That if you have loved the first one enough, you wouldn't love the second one. You wouldn't hunger for the second one. So that is what it is. So a lot of us are stuck in the past. A lot of us are still not ready, not willing to lose that which every common person wants. My friend, until you decide that you want to lose the catfish, you are not going to be strong enough. You're not going to be competent. You're not going to be ready to catch tuna or shark. You have to be ready to lose the little ones so you can prepare yourself and wait for the bigger fish. And that is when the shift begins. When you do this, the shift begins. There are people who are stuck with bad friends, who are toxic. There are people who are in a toxic relationship and they want a new relationship that is healthy, that is fruitful, but they don't want to let go of that toxic relationship. The shift is not going to happen as a magic. You have to let go that toxic relationship and clear your mind off that and prepare yourself for the new relationship that is not toxic, and you are going to get it. The shift will begin. Every element made in the universe that we constantly vibrate each time attracts. We come into play when we make that decision. Many things happen when we make the right decision and we decide to follow it up with the action that is required. Even the Bible talked about that if faith without work is dead. So when you choose that you don't want this lifestyle, this horrible lifestyle, this life of poverty anymore, you want to get rid of everything that is related to that poverty and cling now to start living, put up the new garment of new robe, new attire of wealthy lifestyle, the life of abundance. Start wearing the life of abundance. Start thinking the life of abundance. Start believing in the life of abundance. Start living in the life of abundance. Start thinking the life of abundance. Start thinking like someone who is financially free and not financially trapped. And this is the ultimate secret that propels the shift to begin. The quantum laws will start taking effect. You will start manifesting all that when you decide to break away. Even the Bible also tells you that until a seed of the grain dies, that it will not grow bigger. Even though you are not someone who read the Bible has a lot of element of truth, because the Bible is a collection of ancient texts about ancient philosophies, Greeks and Egyptians, a lot, Book of the Dead and Book of Lord, who have a philosophy of how this life and reality revolves. So when you read Bible in one side, you should understand that you are dealing with a realistic text script, transcript of how the universal laws works, how the universe works, how God relates to human. And I also want you to understand that you are created in the image of God, and therefore you have God's likeness, you have connection of God in you. You are still connected to God. So see yourself like a material, like a tool through which He passes through His message, and things will get easier than you think. Things will get normal than you think. Things will get faster than you think. And all those things that we're talking about here has to do with you. It starts and ends with you, if you believe. So choose today which side of the coin you want to bear, you want to see. If it is the old side, then you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna keep getting loading, and it will never load up completely. The shift will never begin. The shift will never happen. And in this state, you can be stuck. You will be thinking that God is testing you without knowing that you are the one creating the problem for yourself. That if I'm gonna explain this furthermore before I close up, if you want to get rid of obesity, there is a shift that will happen before you will start getting rid of it. One is you have to make a decision. I'm using this as an example. You want to make a decision to stay away from every junky food, every fatty food, and adopt entirely to new diet that is low carb, low fat. And you're also gonna include exercise and workout in your routine. If you have been driving cars all day long before, you should start doing cycling. If you have been all the time with car, you have to try walking, running, and all that. And this automatically will make the shift, the transition for you to lose fat, to lose weight very fast comes into play. If you're someone who has been doing some certain business and you're expecting some kind of money, you will have to learn to re-strategize and start thinking big. Start changing your ideas. Bring on new ideas, creative ideas. Bring new strategies, new business ideas. That is what exactly that same money which you're looking for. Because this same Newton's law says, on the third law says, action and reaction are equal and opposite. What that means is what you choose to give out is, in other words, exactly what you choose to receive, whether you like it or not. So when you do wrong to others, you are simply saying that that's what you want to receive in return. Action and reaction is equal and opposite. If you slap someone, that is like the golden rule. If you slap someone, it means you want to be slapped. You will receive it in return, whether you like it or not. So do unto others what you want to be done to. So if there is a certain kind of habit which you do not like and you want to build up a new habit, you have to let go of the old one completely and cut it off. Don't keep it as a backup. And by so doing, you have proven that you are ready and competent for the shift to begin, for the quantum law to take effect. And you will start receiving results instantly. I'll see you on the next one. If you are having any further question, drop into the comment section below. Bye for now. When you are not experiencing the shift, it is technically like a phone that is plugged to a charger, and you keep seeing the bar, the percent keep doing as if it's rising, but the battery never get filled. Something is wrong somewhere. It could be that the charging port is bad, or the charger is bad, or the cable is bad. Any of this can actually reduce the power flow This is exactly what it is to life. Your connection, your route to the right source of connection to spiritual realm that will effect the shift is getting interrupted, is having a low grip on the contact that's supposed to feed the power direct. Do you know what a partial contact is? Or some sort of a loose contact is? It does a whole lot of harm into any system. So it's also the same thing that happens to human. When you have a loose contact over anything, you will never get the real detail about it. You're always gonna get a lot of problem. So it's better not to get a contact at all than to get a loose contact. So if you want to get a contact, get a grip of it. And if you don't want to get a contact at all, then forget about it. So that is what it is. So if you are still stuck in the memory of the past, the shift will never begin because it's still waiting for you to get a grip contact before it will start transferring that data, that power, that whatsoever which you have set your mind on to get. So make that firm contact. Then sit back and see what happens.